Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a week, as in weekly, overview of June 27th through July 3rd. There will be timestamps for each day for anyone's convenience if you want to do a card of the day situation, because I don't do them individually anymore. There's often a thread that runs through the cards, but that happened even when I was doing them separately. So for each day pile, there's one card each from 3 different decks. And this time, I specifically did not have any doubles. Sometimes I get double cards. But for this reading, that was not permitted, which is fine. I might have to pull some extra cards anyway. So the decks that I'm using are the Morgan Greer Tarot and the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. This is what the cards look like. Alright, you know what? I'm going to leave this one over here. And I'm using my Twin Flame Pinnacle deck. So it's 2 sets of 9 through Ace, and then there's a few wild cards that I stuffed in there because there were blanks stuffed in the box. And I call it Twin Flame because one set's labeled masculine and one set's labeled feminine. So I'm actually going to take this card as being for the whole week, because it flipped out when I moved the deck. So this is the box, and this is about being trapped inside the box, thinking within the box, existing within parameters, and not going without them. Now, this looks like a pyramid altogether, but the thing is that you can draw a box around yourself, and then you can get some expansion, but you're still going to end up drawing a box around yourself, and this is kind of breaching the walls and perhaps using the box itself as a stepping off point to expand your horizons in all directions. So we'll see what comes up in the reading proper. Oh yeah, I was going to look at the astrology. So astrologically, during this week, the moon goes into Aquarius on the 27th, and also on the 27th, Neptune goes retrograde, where it's already been in Pisces. And the sun is in Cancer. Somebody else in Cancer? I guess not. Mercury in the North Node in Gemini. Mercury direct. North Node retrograde. And Moon in Aquarius, and then Saturn retrograde in Aquarius also. And then over here, the Moon is in Pisces, hanging out with Jupiter retrograde and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. The 29th and 30th. Okay, so then on the 1st, the moon moves into Aries and hangs out with Chiron. And then on the 3rd, the moon goes into Taurus and hangs out with Lilith and Uranus. And Pluto's hanging out retrograde in Capricorn. I think that's everybody. Venus in Leo. Yeah, and South Node Sagittarius. That's everything. Okay, so we're going to start with Monday the 27th. Just going to slide these over. I've got it focused to about here. Not Monday. Sunday the 27th. Leo energy. Sun energy. Oh, Venus and Mars hanging out in Leo during this week. Okay. Trying to be on the same page anyway. The fault line. This is coming off of the previous reading because there was a lot going on between the masculine and the feminine energies, represented by the sun and the moon, Mars and Venus, and so on. The fault line is, I was talking about subduction zones near where the plate's going under in the ocean. So we have the Queen of Cups inverted. That kind of also reminds me of the subduction zone where the oceanic plate's going underneath the continental plate, and there's a lot of water coming up in any magmatic chambers. And we have... Oh, this is okay. 9 of Pentacles upright. So this is usually like all the single ladies. It looks like a feminine energy with a broken heart who is like, screw you, I'm going home. But that's not necessarily what's going on. That's just a base level, what's in the picture kind of thing. This is about shifting, about moving, about grinding over a platform. It's about expansion of weak points. It's about opening up, things being subsumed, or stuff that's been subsumed coming up again. It also is like it looks like I'm hearing like ground penetrating lightning, like ground penetrating radar. There's an aspect of things from before having been submerged, like spewing forth again. 9 of Pentacles is Venus in Virgo. But Venus isn't in Virgo yet. Venus is in Leo. The Queen of Cups is Gemini and Cancer. But inverted, it's like she's going back in time. It's giving me Gemini retrograde. But the sun is in Cancer. There's like an illumination happening, but it's coming out of an emotional and or psychic place. It's a little bit like I was past this point. Why is this stuff coming up again? Like, I thought I healed from that. I was manifesting, I was growing as a person. Why is it coming back up? This Queen inverted is like a death card. And I feel like the fault is like, whose fault is it? But the overall card that slipped out over this week is this box. That's like thinking outside the box. This is kind of like chasing the tail of something where it's like, somebody else did this to me, but I got over it. So why is it coming back up again? And it's not to say like, oh, it was your fault the whole time. There's a lot more going on underneath and behind everything than you think. This might even have to do with ancestral things, because if you think of how long it takes for land to build up, there could be millions of years of layers of stuff that have been built up and then start pulling underneath the continental shelf. Right? Things that happen in an emotional territory that suddenly get sort of forgotten about as they slide underneath the day-to-day manifestation. This is coming in feminine energy, though. There's a wound to feminine energy, and the only way to eradicate the festering is for the skin to crack open, right? It's like cover your ears if you get squeamish. It's like popping a boil. And even that has a kind of a steam element to it. It's a little bit like emotional upheaval because an anger element wasn't dealt with. Interesting. Okay. So let's look at Monday, the 28th. Still in Aquarian energy. The moon in Aquarius, hanging out with Saturn retrograde. Saturn is Chronos. Saturn retrograde is like if I could turn back time. Again, with these retrogrades, it's a lot of like turning the clock back, time travel, digging up a box of old photos, getting the color slides in the projector, all that kind of stuff. So the King of Swords related to feminine energy. Upright. King of Swords. It's his energy. Oh, of course it is. Capricorn in Aquarius. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. Still smell like Sharpie. This came up in the last week's reading, the Four of Wands inverted. This energy is upright, but this is the energy that's sitting in the retrograde in the mirror world. This is the 11-11, the universal timing, the Four of Wands, the masculine and the feminine coming together, Venus and Aries. But we see that happening because Venus and Mars are both in Leo. They're in the solar center. But there's a retrograde energy. I don't think this isn't happening, but it's like lost in time and place and meaning. The Tear. This card has to do with letting emotions out. And if that's not what's in the book, that's what's happening right now. This is coming off of the 27th, where there was an unexpected upheaval of unaddressed anger in emotional baggage that was previously thought to have been processed. This is like the ultimate truth is you haven't grieved the loss of an integrated masculine and feminine situation. You know, where it's like, I might have moved on, but I haven't gotten over a separation or a loss of unity within the self. The shadow of the king is looking towards the situation. The awakened day-to-day king is looking away from the situation. This is 52, this is 4, and this is 14, which breaks down to 5 or 1. 52 breaks down to 7, this is 11, and then 5, 16, a tower moment, but it could also be double time, universal timing, and then a shift or a pivot. It's like every time I go away, I keep coming back to this. It's like being stuck on a broken record. I'm like, I'm coming out here with my personal truth, but I keep coming back to the truth is that there's something in me grieving a unity. And again, it could be of the self because everyone has masculine and feminine energy, or it could be directly related to a relationship in which two people are in separation and they don't like it. But here it's coming from the feminine energy's point of view. Maybe because Venus is sightseeing in Leo, which is the masculine territory. I don't know. But the sun is touring Venus. I mean, the sun is touring the moon, which is also the feminine. All right, so we're looking at Mars, which is Tuesday. So we're looking at the masculine energy again. Interesting. There's a lot of masculine focused energy. There's only 2 days out of the week where the main point of view should be from the feminine, but we see that on Sunday in the sun area, probably because the sun is in Cancer, that we were in the feminine energy as well. It might be because the feminine energy has been operating as like a pseudo-masculine, where the feminine energy is distorted and protects itself by cutting its hair and putting on pants. Although in modern society, that's considered sexist and not PC and all that. But I'm talking about historically. It's like energetically the feminine takes on the energy of the masculine in order for protection. And I think that's why this King of Swords is coming out instead of the Queen. It's like I'm being logical and linear. I'm following this flow chart through angles, and it's predictable and programmable. I'm not lollygagging all over the place wherever, the wind takes me, which is not entirely what the feminine energy does, but there isn't a creative unfurling. It's more of a, let me check the compass and 2 clicks that way and 30 yards this way. It's an angular movement, which is why this feminine energy is in King of Swords mode. Okay. So, Mars. Mars is in Leo, but the sun, which is also masculine energy, is in Cancer. It kind of feels like the masculine energy is trying to achieve temperance. But they still want to be the biggest person in the room, kind of. Like they want to be the most famous person in the room. They want to be like the head honcho. Masculine energy, 9 of Cups. I've got the masculine written in the opposite way that the card goes. So I would say that this is actually in the challenge position. Although I'll see how that comes out. The 9 of Cups, if we take this as inverted, it's an artificial 9 of Swords. It's like the dream is turning into a nightmare. If it's in a challenge position, it's sort of like, I don't know what's going to make me happy. Let's put it that way. 8 of Pentacles. Working on the railroad all the livelong day here. 8 of Pentacles. Oh, the sun in Virgo. The sun in Virgo... Yeah, I believe... Well, yeah, it would have been the sun in Virgo, because it was talking about summer. The sun in Virgo energy came up in the previous week, and I'm seeing it again here. So 8, 9, 17, that's star energy altogether, possibly. But this is like, I'm trying to create enough of something like, I'm not waiting for a harvest to grow. I'm manufacturing a certain set of items. It's like I have to take a certain number of pre-orders before they'll even start manufacturing the product. So I've got to make sure that I get out there and get all this advertising done, be convincing about what the product does, and so on. It's like I've got a big sell to do, and I'm working on these prototypes. Hammering it out. But it's sort of like, I don't know if this is going to make me happy this time. Like, I can't, it's like, I'm not sure. It's like my happiness depends on other people's reactions. And that is leading to, like, being excited, but also anxious about what could happen. So we have Kairos. Oh, I knew I was going to get a card that I wasn't quite sure what the word meant. I think Kairos has to do with universal connection, and it might be unconditional love, but I'm not quite sure. What I do see is blue energy, throat chakra energy, tied with an eye, which to me indicates the third eye. But it's like I'm trying to express something that's a universal truth that is coming in as some kind of a download. 76. It's like a death cycle. I'm going to get a couple of cards to clarify this. This is my first time using this deck without having the book nearby, and I want to clarify to see if I'm hitting on the right nodes with this right now. Clarify Kairos. I'll probably look it up later just to make sure. It's kind of sometimes better to learn instead of like trying to prepare ahead of time to be like, uh-oh, and then like I'm not going to forget it anymore. Okay. So I have the world and I have the tower inverted. That does give me this idea of co-creation. And it's also giving me a little bit of like, I don't need to go through this again. Like I did that last time around where I let someone else build. It's like I let someone else build me up or build on what I was trying to do, but the foundation wasn't good enough. And it does go back to the 28th where I had the Four of Wands inverted, because that's usually a good foundation. It was inverted. So I have the King of Cups inverted. Yeah, this is talking about a past thing where working with someone, maybe not the universe. It was like the world, like the people around me. It's like they were buttering me up, but stabbing me in the back. And I need to get back into my truth and my connection with the network of the universe, this sort of all-pervading consciousness, and leave off this anxiety of what other people think of what I might put out or manifest. Alright, so let's look at Wednesday. Mercury, mercurial energy. So the 30th, so the last day of June here, rounding up a month. The moon in Pisces, okay. Mercury. The Death card. There's our friend Death again, just like last week. That white rose is really standing out right now. Let me see what else we got here. Okay, so we have the feminine energy with Jack of Pentacles inverted. Jack can be a knight or a page, which I'm not quite sure yet. Let me see what the Knight of Pentacles does. Oh, okay. Leo and Virgo. So yeah, it's definitely the Knight. The Knight inverted is like the Hanged Man. But I get 12. It puts me in Hanged Man energy, which is Neptune. And by the nature of being inverted, it does indicate retrograde. But it's like I'm just starting out with what I'm trying to manifest. And I already feel like I have to backtrack. Like 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Like, is this gonna get killed before it even gets off the ground? There's a huge emotional factor there. It's like, is Death protecting the purity of this rose, or is he hacking it off the vine? We don't know yet. The Forest. I was looking at this red sunrise here. This is Scorpionic energy. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Forest is an earth kind of energy as well. And this card speaks about going out into the proverbial forest, you know, camping or whatever. It's guaranteed that if you're going to have an honest spiritual journey out there, that you have to be scared to death, scared half to death, out of your wits at least one night while you're out there. Right? The creepers in the eyeballs and the noises and the rustling and the unknown. But this red sunrise is leading to sort of the early part is leading to a rainbow coming in over it. So this Knight of Pentacles inverted is a Hanged Man energy. It's like facing the fears of the subconscious, but because the Knight of Pentacles is inverted, it's something that's happening very quickly. And like I was last week, I'm getting Mercury as Quicksilver. Something is transforming, because death can be transformation, quickly. You know, it's like the feminine energy dealing with stuff they thought they had handled, coming up again. It's like facing these demons. It's like sitting scared in the woods and letting them crawl all around you and realizing that it's not the end of the world. That it's survivable. It's like, it's not like I'm punishing myself, it's I'm acclimating to the shadow so that I no longer fear it enough to brush it under the carpet. I'm like, oh, I'm not going in the haunted woods. Well, maybe if you make friends with the animals that are nocturnal in the woods, then it won't be so alien. You know, it's just because this stuff doesn't daywalk doesn't mean that it's not useful and it can't be transmuted. You know, it might be easier to transmute things or not have to transmute things that are jolly, but to transmute the anger or the fear or any of those things is part of that forest experience. And there's also this thing of not being able to see the forest for the trees. Right? There's a whole involved. It's a network. It's a journey. It's not just, you know, a log and black fog, so to speak. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so we have Thursday, the 1st of July. So we're going from into this 7 energy. The Chariot, perhaps. So we have Jupiter energy, because it's Thursday. And the number 1, which could be the Magician. Okay. This card matches the one that just came out the day before. This is the matching Jack of Pentacles for the masculine energy. And possibly because they're both in Leo, hanging out in the same forest, they're mirroring, they're mirroring each other. The masculine is also the Knight of Pentacles inverted. He's got the 6 of Cups, though. Why is he afraid of the past? It's like he's afraid of the sunny past. This is the sun in Scorpio, though. The feminine energy was getting just Scorpio. Death energy. Maybe because the masculine is also Leo himself, and the feminine can take on the Queen energy, which can also be death. But there's flowers on the Scorpionic card, too. Let's see what this is. The Destroyer. Now, interestingly, death would be the Destroyer. So what is he transforming? Normally, if I were going to take this energy, the 6 of Cups would be inverted. But the way that I'm taking this is there's like a rosy view of the past that's being destroyed. The masculine energy is taking on the Hanged Man energy. He's in this Piscean zone. Jupiter is also retrograde in Pisces. This Destroyer energy is... it's like... it's giving me like Eaters of the Dead. I think these might be mushrooms on here too. It's taking something that's gone to its zenith, basically, and is breaking it down and like unknitting it so that it can be repurposed into other forms. And even I said unknitting, this looks like a yarn. It looks like a piece of yarn here. Like I've taken out this yarn and it's no longer going to be a sweater. I'm going to turn it into one of those, what is it, like amigurumi, or what are those little, I don't remember if that's the onesie or the little doll. You know what I'm talking about? Like a little crocheted doll. That's like what it's like. Because the Destroyer is like annihilation, but the energy is eternal, so it'll go somewhere else. I feel like this actually might have to do more with a past life. This life is destroyed, but there's some kind of soul memory that the masculine energy has. And it's like the universe is giving the masculine the download about a past life, whereas the masculine might think, you know, you only get one go around. This Destroyer is saying, no, happens over and over again, and you'll be destroyed after this. But it's not the soul. And even here, look, this looks like Sirius A and Sirius B, I'm guessing. Because this would be the masculine and the feminine kind of chasing each other around in the cosmos. But you don't get to see that until this loop of destruction of what the material world is doing is complete. I want to get a couple more cards to clarify what's going on with this 6. the way that these energies are not the same from the Wednesday to Thursday with the masculine and the feminine, the way that they're not the same, but that they're mimicking, makes me think that this is something that the masculine has to also face to get over. But it seems on more of a cosmic thing, whereas the feminine energy could be more, seems more applicable to the current lifetime. Okay, so I have Two of Wands, Mars in Aries, at this weird semi-inverted angle. Like breaking a contract. And the Seven of Wands in a challenge position. Okay. The masculine has to face that there was a past life where there was a togetherness, but it was destroyed. And this is answering his unwillingness to work with someone else out of defensiveness. Right? It's like, I feel separate, so I seek to have people around me that help me decide if I'm awesome or not. But that isn't making me happy, and it just keeps leading to collapse. So what the masculine is facing is, like, I've been in a defensive mode, and by having a lot of people around me, nobody really gets to get in, and I'm never actually working alone with a single person. It's always a group, so I can remain this kind of aloof and mysterious. So I've got these two other cards that popped out. The Four of Cups and the Nine of Cups. Right? I'd rather be... It's like I've been apathetic when I could be happy. And again, there's this idea that was coming in on the 29th of anxiety, because the Nine of Cups is in challenge. It keeps trying to be a nightmare. Meanwhile, I'm trying to let go of what doesn't serve me, i.e. loose relationships with other people that are ultimately unfulfilling because they don't get to know your true soul depths. And the Destroyer is the link between these two worlds. It's saying this was destroyed, but perhaps we should also destroy this other stuff too, to make way for some more cups. And this is the sort of facing the darkness and cosmic hanged man type downloads that this Knight of Pentacles in the masculine is receiving. But he's in Pentacles because as soon as he gets this message, he's got to manifest. But it's also demanding to be happening quickly. Okay. I was going to say Two of Pentacles. That's not right. The 2nd of July, Venus energy, Friday. And Venus is in Leo. And the 2nd. Seems weird to me that nothing is in Libra right now. Oh, I know what it is. Stuff is in Taurus. Herp and derp. The moon is still in Aries on the 2nd, but Lilith and Uranus are in Taurus. So that's what's going on with the Venus energy. 10 of Wands, upright, masculine energy. Okay. And the moon, Cancerian energy, feminine energy. 10 of Wands is Saturn in Sagittarius. Both of those are retrograde. I feel like it's like two negatives making a positive here. It's like something that's charged. Emotionally charged. Look at this full moon here, though. The full moon isn't until the end of the month. I feel like this is looking at the full moon that just happened in June. On the 24th. That's not 10 days, is it? That's 8 days. Weird. This breaks down to 9, though. 9, 10. Like, there might be a progression. The full moon in Capricorn, though. Because this has Capricorn energy on it. Saturn in Sagittarius. The moon card traditionally ruled by Pisces, even though that makes no sense whatsoever. Jupiter in Pisces. Moon in Capricorn. Cancerian energy is where the sun is. Ooh. This is like I know this is stupid, but this is the sun at night. The sun at night. This wants to be 10 of Swords together. But it's coming in with these separate energies. It's like it's too hard to complete facing my fears, to let them overcome me and let the pain consume me. So I'm avoiding it. But it wants to clear so much that the sun is now coming out at night to try to be like, hey, you got those 10 wands there. What if you sharpen the ends of them and stuck them in your back there? Maybe that would help. Okay, I knew I was going to get this card. So agape, I believe this is truth. Like a universal truth. And I might be pronouncing it wrong. I also seeing, and it is the root word for agape, which means like an open maw. In this, it's sort of like, it's like a standoff of like, I don't want to be consumed by my pain, but the end result is recombining and hopping out like a phoenix. All pretty like. I'll get a couple more cards. So another Jack. I'm kind of getting this thing in the back of my head where the feminine is like the masculine won't accept his pain, but I'm hearing it as he won't accept his shame. It's like in the movie, what's that movie, The Last Samurai? The characters were so upset that Tom Cruise had lost their battle and he was refusing to accept the shame of the loss because he wouldn't concede or commit seppuku. Okay. Masculine energy almost inverted. Queen of Cups. Started out with a feminine energy dealing with the Queen of Cups inverted on Sunday. But I feel like this looks like the feminine as the Jack kind of digging in and flipping the card like that. And I feel like these aren't coming in as emotions. because cups also deals with psychic flow, right? It's a frequency. It's downloads, which is why traditionally the high priestess is ruled by Cancer, because the water is the current. It's the wave of the message. I'm like, is this a knight or a page? And it's like, it's a jack. Like a car jack. Like, shh, Jimmy and the door open. I think what's going on here is the masculine is getting kind of clobbered by the universe, and it's like, you know, you close the curtains, so we put a floodlight directly into your window, and you pulled a sash down, so we angled it into the corner, and you put the pillow over your head, but now we're just gonna make noise with the light too, like, so you can hear the filament vibrating in the lamp. This down here is the feminine having this psychic connection to the masculine, where perhaps at some point they've communicated in the material world. This is all energetic here. There's no pentacles. And Saturn is retrograde. I mean, Venus is hanging out in there somewhere in the background with Taurus energy, I think. But even Taurus has the dark side of the moon hanging out in it, and Uranus, which rules Aquarius, so there's no tethering. These can be like little tethers as well. It's like jumping without a net. But there's enough of a psychic connection between the masculine and the feminine that the feminine is kind of instigating this emotional overhaul. But the feminine is coming in at a lower energy. They don't have the energy to fully turn the masculine. It's the universe and the masculine's own job to go through his own darkness, to wade through any emotional pain or baggage or fears. But they're still having a psychic connection, but they can't seem to get in the same direction on the same level. But the feminine energy is back here like with the Morse code, and the masculine is like, oh man, let me dust off this book and see what the thing, and I gotta play it back 6 times to understand it, and I gotta chunk, like one dot at a time. So the messages aren't going back and forth very fast, but the universe is like, you know, if you go through the burden of your pain, this memory loss of how to connect should clear right up. You know, because once the phoenix bursts into flames, it's, you know, got all the communication it needs. And so it looks like it's Saturday. Oh, this time the Saturday in the park song is almost apt. Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. But it's the 3rd of July this year. Last year it might have actually been the 4th. But I could be mistaken. Don't quote me on that. Feminine energy and King of Cups energy. This is kind of relevant to the day before. 3 of Cups. Not that surprised to see that. Still Venus. No, wait, that's Mercury. Yeah, that's Mercury in Cancer. Mercury retrograde, Cancerian, with the sun in Cancer. But Mercury isn't retrograde anymore. Oh, it's the North Node. Okay, North Node Gemini. It's like, oh, is it opposite day? The Healer. Three snakes, three cups. This kind of looks like the tear card. There's an eyeball and a teardrop, but this here is like the brain center, the center of the brain. This is like the physical eye is crying, and then the third eye is like downloading everything like a mofo. But this pearly circle here looks like the moon. King of Cups. Libra and Scorpio. Feminine energy. Scorpio energy because Saturn has Pluto retrograde in it. So that's also retrograde energy. Half of the Six of Cups inverted. It's like, I'm going to go deeper into my connection with masculine energy, but they have to meet me halfway to get to Six of Cups. I have to go deeper, scorpionic energy inverted. This healer energy, we see two, and then the third one in the middle is the connection. Masculine and feminine, and then the unity. This is like, this wants to be the Lovers, but it's coming in a different way. Look at this. Root, sacral, a little bit of solar, and then heading into the chartreuse energy of the heart center. The feminine energy in the king, though. This is a lot like the feminine energy being in the King of Swords. But why is the feminine in the King of Cups? I mean, I know that there's trying to be balance. This is 25 here in this deck. That's breaks down to 7, which is half of this. 25 and 3 is 28, breaking down to 10, which is a completion. Completion of... I mean, it is sort of like completion of having nothing to celebrate. But I want to be measured and balanced in my emotional content. Like, I don't want to fly off the handle because that wouldn't have learned anything from healing past stuff. But I want to get a little bit more. I need... Okay. Eros. It's intentionally suggestive. So this is sexy love. Lust, attraction, like getting into the physical realm. I don't think it should be taken. I think it should be taken in much the same way as this pseudo lovers card here, because it's the Kundalini. The Kundalini requires this Eros energy to come through the sacral, right? To express the sexuality as a natural extension of your psychic and emotional bodies. The healing of the sacral is to remove shame. In which you can have this as another form of uniting with someone that's outside of a psychic connection or an intellectual connection or an I love you very much, you are a tender and cute and adore you and want to pat you on the head and give you snacks kind of thing. Ace of Pentacles in a challenge position. Notice the gateway here. Red roses and white flowers. And the Five of Pentacles. Oh man, I can't, it's really hard to look at this gateway and not think dirty things. Because the Five of Pentacles is like being put out, feeling left out, uninvited, can't come in here. But the Ace of Pentacles is like access granted. This feels like the feminine wants essentially sexual healing, but is sort of on hold because the plan, my heart doesn't roll out unless the plan unfolds. And there is no celebration. One more card. I think I do want one more card because this is the end of the reading. Let's answer the box. I mean, and it's also kind of dirty too because the box is slang for what this looks like. You gotta think outside the box, but sometimes going inside the box can be useful. That's terrible. And this reading is not just for like male bodies and female bodies. I'm talking about energy, the feminine energy and the masculine energy. It doesn't really matter what your body is doing in the physical realm. Somebody usually has more feminine energy. Somebody usually has more masculine energy. The mountains. Oh! Bitch! Look at this. The colors coming in around the edges are coming in over here too. These look like... This is like a portal. And this is the one side and this is the other side. It's like by not accepting the confines, you find a way to like tunnel through the box instead of trying to go outside it and then have it like reconfigure it to box you in again. It's like, haha, you didn't think I was going to go through. I found a way out of this. And it comes out in the mountains, which is the challenge, but it's also this idea of climbing to the top of the mountain is where you can have a physical connection to spirit. Right? It's like literally being up in the air, but there's also a lot of ground underneath you. But the mountain also represents a difficult challenge. But here it's like being in the mountain. It's sort of like being in the womb. It's like it's like becoming the lava. It's sort of popping out at a higher place. It's like there's kind of, I feel like there's a reason that that Tibet has ended up so spiritual. It's so high up in the mountains, and it's sort of like that. It's not like, ooh, proximity to the sky where all the God is and all that. There's a physical aspect to having all of that mass underneath it. The energy funnels up through there. That's why pyramids are artificial mountains. Referred to as the mountain. Because the energy pushes up towards them. You know, it's like the same way that an arc in a building is load bearing, right? Arches in cathedrals, because the cathedral is a sculpture of a mountain, and that archway is sort of it's like a representation of the peak in some way. So in a spiritual sense, it's like putting a lot of fuel behind you to overcome the challenges and kind of plop you out into a higher dimensional energy. So the physicality of being high up is sort of like metaphorical, energetically linked to hitting a higher vibration. And there's this idea of like not going around your problems and then running into bigger problems, but to go through them and come out on the other side. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, that's it. If you want to get a personal reading, let me move my thing. Hold on to your lunch. There we go. Nope. One of these days, I can afford a cameraman. Nobody will have to put up with this anymore. Camera person, whatever. If you'd like to get a personal reading, the list is going to be in the description box underneath here. There's a complete list of the readings that I offer and the prices and all that tasty stuff. There's a playlist I have called Readings for Sale Samples, so if you're interested in how it looks when one rolls out, those are a handy resource. If you'd like to help keep this channel chunking along, you can donate, energy exchange, tip jar. It's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, all Cat the Minion. If you'd like to get things for throwing money at me, I have coloring books, dark poetry, prints, merch, actual art items. There's a coupon code there for Etsy. If you go through the link tree, it should pop right in. I have the social media for nasty. And I have stuff on Etsy. I have drawings and little paintings and things like that at different price points. I've got some of these guys, a couple of stuffed animals, and some other little knickknacks. I got chapbook packs, which is like a synchronicity stimulus packet. It's more or less equivalent to, say, like dropping that on you. There's little pictures and writing and stuff in there. And they come in snazzy little envelopes that I either bought or made. So here's one of the ones that I made out of a calendar. There's little drawings and stuff in there. And I got some of the purchased envelopes all neatly arranged in rainbow order. So those are available. They're only a few bucks each, and then if you use the coupon code, that's 17% off. So it helps bring the cost down per unit. But you can also apply that discount to the expensive things too. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy. And we'll see you later. Bye.